Today, we're going to read Otter in Space. Now, looking at the cover, do you think that this book is going to be fiction, which means pretend, with pretend otters? Or do you think it's real, which is nonfiction? Will we be learning about otters? I think it's fiction too. Because if you look at the picture, the otter's dressed up. And our otters, real otters, don't dress up. And it's also a drawing. If it was a photograph, that usually is a good clue that it's going to be nonfiction. Not always, though. Otter in Space by Sam Garton. Before we start reading the book, we're going to talk a little bit about lists. Because Otter is going to try to go on a adventure. And one of the things he does is makes a list. So I started my list. It says things to do. It says number 1, read story. So I'm going to read the story. Number 2, make a new list. Number 3, read list. So my list has numbers on the side and it has steps. You can also make a list if you were going to the grocery store. So if I was going to make a list of things I needed to pick up, if I was going to go to space, I could make a list. I could make space food. So I could put space food. I could put space suit, because I would need a space suit. I would need a rocket. I could need a co-pilot. Somebody to help me fly the spaceship. I would need space boots. So there's my list. Those are the things that I would need if I was going to go into space. Now we're going to read the story, Otter in Space, and we're going to see what he puts on his list. And then I want you to think about, what would you put on your list? What would your list be if you needed to go to space? Otter in Space by Sam Garton. On Sunday, Otter Keeper took me and Teddy to the museum. The museum is the best place ever. Museum. We saw a huge dinosaur skeleton, and Teddy met his cousin. We also looked at old paintings made before crayons were invented. In a museum, even boring things become interesting if they're old enough. So there he is looking at the skeleton, the bear, the paintings. But our favorite, most special part was the special room all about outer space. There were lots of fun things to do and buttons to push. Teddy and I got to see a real space rock. Otter Keeper said it came all the way from the moon. And the moon is very far away, the video told us. So there you are. There's the exhibit. He's pushing a bunch of buttons. There's the moon rock. They're watching a video. We have museums in Milwaukee, and some of them, like the Children's Museum, have hands-on things for children to learn. Our last stop in the museum was a very important one, the gift shop. Unfortunately, Otter Keeper said I couldn't buy everything I needed, so I was forced to make some very difficult decisions. On the way home, Teddy and I were very sad. We had a new spaceship, but we really needed a moon rock too. So they're sad. Sad face. Even Teddy looks kind of sad. The next day after Otter Keeper left for work, we were all still sad. Playing in outer space was no fun with just a spaceship. Teddy suggested going back to the museum to get a moon rock, but no one knew how to get there without Otter Keeper. Giraffe offered to drive, but I don't think he could. So there's that. I need to think of a clever plan to get my moon rock. This took a long time. Then, suddenly I had the best idea ever! So he's thinking, and then all of a sudden he's like, yes! He's happy he has a great idea. Teddy and I would get our moon rock from the same place the museum did, the moon! We made a very important list of very important things. It was very important. So here's his list. It says, really important list of things to do. Make important list. Make space suit. Train Teddy. Find real space rock. So there's his list. But before getting started, we decided to have our lunch. Thinking of ideas and writing lists can make you very hungry. Lunch is important too. The first thing on the list was to build our spacesuits. We must not forget to bring a spacesuit if you're going to the moon. Unfortunately, our house has a lot of gravity, and this can make it hard to properly test a spacesuit. Teddy took his spacesuit off. He didn't seem to be taking space travel seriously. So I decided it was time to start his training. So there's his spacesuit. There's Teddy's spacesuit. I think Teddy fell down and his stuff fell off. Problem solving wasn't his strong point, but he impressed everyone with his performance in the anti-gravity training area. So he put his head down for the test, but there he is in the washer. He's pretending it's anti-gravity. Teddy asked if Giraffe could be coming with us to the moon. I explained that Giraffe, of all people, certainly could not come. Giraffe had a very important job back on Earth. It says mission control. Now it was time to build our spaceship. This was very important, and I told everyone they had to help, but it still had I still had to do most of the work by myself. So there's all of his animals and everything, and there he is working on his spaceship. Finally, it was time for launch. Liftoff went very well. So there's liftoff. He's on the slide. He's sliding down. But we did have a bumpy moon landing, and my spacesuit got a little broken. He fell out of his space. He looks sad again. We didn't have long to find our moon rock, but luckily they were all hiding in the same place. It's in the garden. It was hard to get it back to Earth, but Teddy and I agreed it was worth it. There he is, trying to pull it back. The day got much better now that we had a moon rock to play with. And then Otter Keeper came home. We discovered he really didn't like moon rocks. In fact, he was quite upset and said that moon rocks have to go back to where they came from. This was a silly idea. We obviously couldn't get back to the moon because our spaceship was broken. Otter Keeper said we could discuss what to do with the moon rock at dinner. I kept my spacesuit on the whole time to show I was serious. Finally, Otter Keeper agreed to let us keep the moon rock, but only if we took it outside for a bath. It was a dirty rock. That evening, Otter Keeper added, "Do not dig up moon rocks" to our list of things not to do. It says, Otter, do not. Jump on the sofa, use the big phone, empty cereal packet for toy, dig up moon rocks. There's his list. But he didn't say anything about digging up other things, so tomorrow, Teddy and I have decided to go back to the moon. They're planning their spaceship. To dig up a dinosaur. Do you think dinosaurs live on the moon? I don't think they live on the moon. But I think he's pretending. Now I want you to think of a list of things that you would take with you to the moon. And in your writing packet, I want you to write your list down. Okay, have a great day.